Okay, now here are some sources to help you find financing for to travel overseas, particularly as a student or as an adult or anything. Now, there's one thing I think that people don't realize what's available from small nonprofit organizations. I think this is probably the biggest opportunity there is, for this kind of thing. Because in other words, they're more or less like rich folks who want to give out, X amount of dollars to people who really want to do important things in life. And it's small amounts of money. These are small foundations. So not these big organizations that have applications this big and stuff like that. That is more a personal thing. And where the opportunity, I believe, is in local organizations. So local organizations, small profits, like in your state, to have that. Now, here's some data. This is an article that came out recently in the New York Times about, and it says when $1,000 gift is better than $1,000,000. So people that give to small individuals are looking for money to do things, or small nonprofits. But the data show that $260 billion is given out every year by these small organizations. So it could be some fat cat in your neighborhood, kind of thing. And that's like, of all the private grants that are given out, that represents 70%. So these big foundations like the Red Cross or, all these big foundations you hear about giving out money to other nonprofits or individuals, that represents only like 30% of, $400 billion. It's almost a $500 billion. Now that's significant. The government gives out about $3 trillion to individuals, but this is a $500 billion. So it's important, and you see how local people give out money, want to be connected. So how do you find where these people are? Well, there are a couple of ways. Actually, there's two organizations that monitor all these nonprofit organizations. One is called the Foundation Center. Oh, I'm having trouble with my book. I've got a little video here too to show you. The Foundation Center, and the other one is GuideStar. Now, they're expensive databases, but GuideStar you could use at home on your PC. You don't get all the information, but you get enough information. Like you could search by, just your state and the kinds of things. So education, maybe these people who want to support in education, or maybe community, because you're part of a community. So that's important. Now, the other database is called the Foundation Center, and that's available at most libraries. So you could go to a library locally and find out how to use it, and the librarians will teach you. Now, actually, what you should do is really go to the library and say you're looking for stuff like that, because they may know of other groups in the area. I mean, you're not the first person looking for money to do this, and they could help you find that. So your librarian is a wonderful source of information, and they could teach you how to use this, or if you want to use the other one, the GuideStar database, you could use that at home and find out. Now, here's an article by grantspace.org. That's a nonprofit that helps nonprofits get nonprofit money. Whatever. But they have a good thing. They have an article there about how to find scholarships and fellowships for international students. So if you're a student, want to go overseas, or you're overseas, want to come here, and it tells you the basic sources, for finding that. Where they are. That's it. See, to me, in finding information, you want to find people that already done some research and did that. Who has to know that? And who may have been asked that about that before. And that's why your librarian is wonderful for that. Something like this, that lists the sources, for you to find out more about that kind of stuff. Also, you said, and I have some other articles in here that show you about other nonprofits that help people travel overseas. And there's a government office that has that, the International Education Office, that I have an article in here for that. Oh, I'm getting a little trouble on my document. But you'll see it there if you have access to the document. And you mentioned that, crowdfunding. Yes, crowdfunding is good, but as you probably found out that, you just can't put up a crowdfunding site and people throw you money. You got to have a list. of people that you're already contacted with on social media and whatever. And that's the best way to take advantage of that. So how are you going to do that? Well, if you don't have a list, then you work with others. Maybe you have other people going to the overseas too. So you have a gang of students going together. You have well, now you do a crowdfunding with a bunch of people because they each have a list, right? And so you do it as a group, or you work with another nonprofit organization, like your local Rotary Club. And actually, that's another place just to go individually. They finance things like this. That's why your librarian, would be a great source to help you find money and help like that. So that's a place to get started. I'm sure that when you contact them, the whole deal is when you find something, if you don't get help from them, you say, where else can I go? That's the important thing. You never leave empty-handed. You contact the sources. Be careful with Google. You probably don't want to use Google at all because all you're going to get is people that want to charge you money for something or other, and you're looking for free help. And the free help people don't advertise. So it's important to realize that. Be very careful when you're searching Google. Make sure you use these sources. And then when you use those sources and don't work out, say, hey, where else can I get help? Because that's where things happen. By accident, you run into something that nobody ever knew about.